okay, like you ever had to like any friction, anything you had to fight against? He's like, yeah, kind of in marriage, there's some of that, but for him it was like it was just so. I was like, bro, I don't think you realize you're like an omega level, freaking like omega level Christian, bro. He's like, I don't know, I just man of God,
Yeah, nah,
acting funny, bro.
I love that. I love that about him. It's just a God centered household there, and I'm like sometimes like, damn, bring that little juju over here, shoot.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, it's so funny. But yeah, he's doing well though, man. You guys haven't seen each other around at the shop, huh? Or
No, I
you
don't.
haven't been back there interacted with that group at all?
Mm-mm. Not at all. Not
Dang.
one bit.
Yeah, but yeah, man. I guess I just wanted to we could dive right in, whatever. But you were someone I wanted to talk to too because you're someone that I first of all had a very dope first impression of you. I don't know if I ever told you this story. I think I was with Ronnie someplace. And she
Okay.
goes, "Oh yeah, we gotta go pick something up for my cousin. Like I'm gonna introduce you to him. He's like a cool. He works with young people." I'm like, "Oh yeah, for sure. Whatever. You're just gonna meet someone." And then I pulled up, bro. Had the suit on. I don't know if it was a suit or you just had a button up, like with the slacks and the purple BMW. You
Okay.
remember that purple
I
BMW?
remember the BMW. I'm trying to
Came
remember
out
the
hecka
interaction.
smooth. I'm like, hey, this guy's cool, man. And I never knew that. I did not know at that point that you was skateboarding. I mean?
Hmm.
I didn't know at that point how cool I would get with you, with your family, your son. And so watching you through all of those phases was really an inspiration to me. Because I remember at a time when you're trying to skate and you're like, bro, I'm too heavy for this.
Hmm.
To now, doing what you've done and accomplishing what you've accomplished and bodybuilding,
I'm still too
competing.
heavy for it. This is a
Yeah.
different heavy.
Hey, but it's a different kind of weight now. It's a
That's a
different kind
different
of
weight.
weight now.
Different weight for sure.
Yeah, man. So I just want to say you're someone that I look up to, that I value their wisdom. It's not just brawn, but it's brain too. So yeah, man, I'm just excited to chat with you and talk to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm ready to dive deep into it. So however you want to navigate it, however you want to do it, like I said, I'm for it. I'm with it.
Yeah, man.
We
So
can
let
just
me
get
say
into
this. So
whatever.
for you and I, we have a lot of background, a lot of history, but in case, and one of the things I talked about reasons why I want to do this is that it's a time capsule. Of
Hmm.
the way we think about things, some of the experiences we've been through. But I met you. I think you must have been. You're how much younger than you am I? Well, we're like right about the same age, right? So I would have been
How old
18.
are you?
I would have been 18. I'm
Wait, how old are
31.
you? What are you talking about? We're the same age.
Yes, I'll say we're I know we're either one or two. We're not much off, but we're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was born in December, so I'm still, you're still older
Uh,
than me.
Baby
But
brother.
so I would have met you when I was 18, bro. From 0 to 18. What is the story of that young man with the BMW and the? What was your story up until that point? What were the things that turned you into that Gilbert?
I guess there's a multitude of things that has made me the Gilbert up until 18, and then obviously a different version of Gilbert now. But damn man, there's a lot. I don't. It's funny because I got a lot to say, but because there's so much to say, I don't know exactly what is the most efficient way to navigate it. Because
Yeah,
obviously in these type of podcasts, like you want to be able to bring appropriate substance that can like be fruitful and be helpful to
for
people
sure,
when
for
they're
sure.
listening to it. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't want
So,
to just like
so
work
let me
on it.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. It'll be a two-part question. What do you
Okay.
think was your most defining trait? Like, what about you defined you the most at that time? And what do you think? How did that get there? What did that
Hmm.
come from?
Okay. Um, I want to say I give two responses, two words: grit and resiliency.
Mm,
And I know that those are like pretty cliche ones, but I think part of what makes me feel like those are the two words that I definitely like define my life around. It's just given my upbringing, um, going through many adverse moments, many traumatic moments, is it's going to force you to shape and grow and become a specific way, a specific person, have a specific outlook, and you can choose to either be a victim or a victor in the situation. And so, like for me, part of like just a quick synopsis is, as you know, growing up in poverty, growing up in the foster care system, experiencing all facets of abuse from mental abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, experiencing a lot of abandonment, even witnessing the death of my mom, witnessing the death of my dad, and on top of that, with the poverty and with the whole foster care system, just growing up in the hood, growing up in Richmond, California, and then being influenced by all the negativity and being influenced to want to like do things that you shouldn't necessarily do. And then for a small path, you choose that lifestyle thinking that that's what's right, thinking that that's what's good, but then you put yourself again in another situation of negativity. It's like a reciprocal pattern where you keep throwing yourself into adversity because this is all that you know. This is what is your safe space, and this is the thing that makes sense. And so, in that, just learning and understanding and realizing, like, you can't change your circumstances. You can't change what has happened to you, but you can change your outlook and how you want to receive it. I can be like, man, poor me. Poor me, my life is hard. I grew up without money. I grew up where I didn't have food during the week. The only time I would eat was at school, and we would skip dinner so that we could have food on the weekend. Or I could say, poor me, my mom died when I was 9, and my dad died when I was 16, and now I'm this orphan, and no one cares about me, and the world owes me everything because I have nothing. But at least I realizing the world doesn't owe you anything. The world, unfortunately, doesn't care about you. It doesn't mean that people don't care about you, but overall speaking, like the world doesn't care about you. And so you just have to accept it. You have to embrace it, and you can make the choice. You can either choose to be a victim of your circumstances and then let adversity hit you, let hardship hit you, let all those things negate you from being a better version of you, or you can say, "This is what it is, and I can choose this, or I could choose that, and I want to choose this." And
Yeah.
so I think at 16, after my dad passed away, after I was like doing my bad stuff because of my hurt and my pain, I started thinking, I was like, oh, wait, I got two younger brothers, obviously other siblings, but I got two younger brothers that look up to me. They don't have a male figure, they don't have a father figure in their life. Now, who are they going to look up to? And I have to think, okay, well, they look at me, they love me, they see me, and I have to be the best representation for them. And
For
so
sure.
I just got my act together and then started switching things up.
Man,
And
that's
yeah.
fire, man. 'Cause so it sounds to me like you had choices to make, right? Like
Hmm.
play the victim or overcome. You know what I mean? Absorb into self or start thinking about, okay, well, what about others? What does others need? What do they need to see me do? How do they need to see me react?
Hmm.
Um, and that's so well said. And I feel like in hindsight, it is so clear. But do you remember a time when you didn't know that yet, and you maybe or you first started to come out of that, or you first maybe you felt like a victim? Let's say 16, you lose your dad. Like, do you remember what it felt like to come to that realization, or the moment where you first realized, okay, it's up to me?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I remember like I started ditching school, grades were completely failing. I was getting drunk all the time at 16. I lived in a group home, and so I would break into the office, take the car keys, steal the car, and go
Mm,
joyriding late at night. And I was just like in that low, and it's like I don't give a damn. Like no one cares about me, this and that. Like the world is hard, and like I have the worst life ever, and
mm.
just really in that place of pity.
Wow.
Granted, I was hurting. Granted, I was trying to figure out what was going on in life, but I got to a place where I was just very pitiful and just look at me. My life is hard, and then I'm going to school, looking at all these people. They're doing this, they're doing that. They got their parents, they live with their family, and I'm just enraged. And what was it? It was
It almost sounds like you always knew it's up to me. I gotta get it, but it took a negative turn where it's like if I want to go somewhere, I gotta break in. I gotta get the keys. You know what I mean?
mhm.
But so you know what I mean? It was like that was always in you, but you just shifted it towards a positive direction at some point.
Yeah, I remember sitting. I think I was sitting in the backyard of the group home. So as I grew up skateboarding, and I didn't really have freedom. All I had was a big flat concrete surface, and there was like a
Mm.
ledge that was like a foot and a half high, and you couldn't slide on it. But I would
No
practice
wax.
like stalling,
Yeah,
just take
no
grind,
stall.
all that stuff. And there was also um, like a deck that had three stairs. So I had
Uh-huh.
my little oasis of skating. But I remember I was done skating. I was sitting there just thinking, and I was thinking about my brothers because they were in the foster home in Oakland while I was in Richmond, and I was just wondering how they're doing, thinking about what's going on in their life, and I'm just like, man, like we have nobody. And and I remember not too long ago, I was going to every Wednesday we would go to this thing called ILSP, Independent Living Skills Program. It's a program for foster youth to learn how to live independently and just acquire skills so that you're prepared for adulthood.
Yeah, I used to do ILS.
Oh, did you? Oh, nice. That's what's
For
up.
but for adults with developmental disabilities.
Ah, for sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. And and I'm there, and I'm just thinking about like. Then I remember they were talking about statistics and the likelihood of like foster youth actually making it. And and I was just thinking about my brothers and I was thinking about myself and I was like, dang, like if I keep going down this route, I'm not gonna graduate high school. I'm gonna maybe get some basic job. I'm gonna struggle and possibly be homeless and maybe get on drugs or maybe do this and that. Because, addiction runs in my family. My mom was an alcoholic. My mom was a heroin addict. And so I just knew that I could easily go that route and that could literally be me. And so I got to switch something up. I got to make little changes because I owe it to myself and my brothers need somebody to look up to. And so that's when
Yeah.
I kind of slowly, not rapid change, slowly began to shift my mindset on what I need to do to be a better version of me for me and then for my siblings.
Man, that's awesome. And I'm so glad you did, bro. And it's like I look at your brothers now. Yeah, I mean, married, families, Reed's doing this thing on the radio.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Tony's doing this thing, holding it down. So it's like, yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I met you though through the Gonzalez family. So how big a part of their, yeah, I mean, how what's the connection there? How was that coming up?
Yeah.
You
So
know, because I say that to say I've spent probably more Thanksgivings with them. You know what I
yeah.
mean, than my own family at points, and so they
Hmm.
were a big part of my life. I met a lot of people through them. So
Yeah.
like, what was the connection there, or like when did they come along?
Yeah, so they've always been around here and there. Like growing up, it was just very distant. Like here and there, I see my cousins and see my aunt and uncle and all that stuff. But really, the biggest thing that shifted our relationship was was my aunt. When my dad passed away, she literally came to the house. So when my mom passed away, unfortunately, for whatever damn reason, we called around 4 a.m. My dad woke up every night. He would do his evening checks, make sure everyone's good. He
Wow.
noticed that his wife wasn't breathing and woke everybody up. And around 4 a.m., we saw that our mom had passed away. And from 4 a.m. to almost 7 o'clock, not one police officer came, not no one came.
No
We
ambulance,
just
no nothing.
Nope, we just saw my mom slowly deteriorate, and we can. It was a little bit much, but you can hear the gases release. You can see the liquid from her nose and all that stuff come out, and you just watch her slowly deteriorate. And then around later on, like when they finally got a hold of my aunt, she called. Oh, she came, and obviously she went into the room and saw her sister there and had her moment. But then after that, because all of our clothes was in my mom's room, she went in there, packed all of our clothes, took me and my two Tony and Augie to her house, and we're just there. And then that's when she became much more present in my life. And then when I was 16 and my dad passed away, same thing happened. Um, I I was, I was living in the group home, but I was doing a weekend visit. And that Sunday, I was a Jehovah's Witness. I
I
woke
think
up
I
to
remember that.
I woke up to go to a meeting, not church, a meeting, and I remember distinctly. I was sleeping on the couch. I saw my dad earlier that day with his coffee, go into the room to watch his morning mass. And I woke up about an hour later, and unfortunately, he was passed. Slumped over on his couch, and um, I had my moment. I had to I literally had to carry his body, perform CPR, and wait until the cops came.
Wow.
And they came
Wow.
at pump 17, push or whatever you want to call it.
I cannot imagine, bro.
It was crazy. It was the most craziest thing ever. Like trying to wake him up, then have to carry him because the phone's corded. At that time the phone's corded on his wall in the living room. So I'm taking him over there and doing that. But like a couple hours later, she came and she was there, and her and my oldest brother, when I went back to the group home, they just cleared out the house, got everything that was important, that was needed, and then she was like, "I want him to do weekend visits with me," and so every weekend I would go to my aunt's house, and
Talking
from
about
Friday
Mama
night,
Marcy, yeah?
yeah, Mama Marcy,
Wow.
um, and she showed up, and that's when I became extra close with all my cousins and just that family in general, and that's why it's part of everything, and that's
Wow.
what led me to go to church and all that stuff. So
Wow. That's awesome, man. It's it's crazy though how that happens, that those worst, I mean, it's like the worst moments is what draws us together or draws something out of us. That's something I philosophize about a lot. It's like, why
yeah.
does it take that intensity to bring the best out of us? You know what I mean?
You
It's
know what? Not to cut you off, I don't think
no,
it's
no, no.
just
Go
a
ahead.
matter of intensity. I think it's the matter of intentionality. I think we live a pretty mundane and straightforward life that a lot of times we don't choose to connect. And the
Mm,
only times we deeply connect is when adverse moments happen. When adverse moments happen, just say, I lose my son, God forbid. You're
God
going to go
forbid.
out of your way to just pour life into me, to love me like the brother you are, to give you my all. And I think we fail to just do that in general. And
Yeah.
not you and I, we
No.
clearly
It
outside, yeah, we clearly have done that. But a lot of times
yeah.
people and that's why and we can get into it later, but very briefly, as a barber and given the career that I have and the life that I had growing up, I'm always intentional about asking, hey, how you doing? I'm all right. Like, no, how are you really doing? You don't look all right. I'm be real with you.
I just want to say, not, and again, not to cut you off. I just gotta say, you're the only person that if you say how you doing, I'll be like, whew, man, I mean, I'm here, man, getting through. You'll be like, what do you mean by that? Tell me
Hmm.
more. That's only two words. Break it down.
Yeah.
Like most people, they ask that. It's like an NPC script.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and you ask to really ask. So
Yeah.
I
Well, oh,
always
I'm fine.
appreciate
What does
that.
that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah,
What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. I don't get it. And so, if people could actually do that, they wouldn't need adverse moments or traumatic moments to find connection with somebody close.
mm,
If you could just
that's
show
real.
up in any given moment and do that, you'll end up finding out that you can build those deep relationships very quickly and very easily. So, unfortunately, like I said, it is in those moments that it does happen,
Yeah.
but it's because that's the only time that people really choose or think intentionally like that. So,
Yeah, no, that's real. That's real. I think there's a lot of distractions, a lot of other things going on, but definitely I would say being a barber gives you a great opportunity, you feel me, to be that for people.
yeah.
How did you end up barbering, by the way, when you were, so you went from unsure what's gonna be my future to now
Hmm.
you're a very successful barber. So what was that kind of journey like?
So I was 14 years old, and when I would do weekend visits with my dad, there was this lady named Karen that lived in the house, but she rented the room so they could pay for the bills. And that's why I slept on the couch, because she took my damn room. But it's all good. I wasn't tripping. I just wanted to be there. One day she came back with clippers in her hands. And she's like, "Hey, my friend, they just broke up, and her dude left this stuff. Do you want it?" And it was like some T outliners, and I was like, yeah, I'll
Good
take it.
stuff.
And then I knew my dad had like clippers in his house, and I was like, "Hey, Papa, can I have these?" He was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And so I had clippers and liners, and at that time I had like little five hairs on my chinny chin, and I would practice lining that up and practice lining up the dirt on my lip, and eventually, slowly, try to learn how to cut my hair. Oh, I jacked it up so bad. And then I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to cut my hair. But one day, one of the kids at the group home, his name was Alex. He's like, "You cut my hair?" I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." He was like, "It's all right, just do it." And so I went on YouTube and I looked at how to do a Caesar, which is just wavelength, all one length, no tape or anything, just one length, and then just line it up all around the perimeter with little ice picks, because that was the thing at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't do too bad. I was like, you know what, this is not that bad. And Alex, unfortunately, this man is homeless on drugs somewhere, but I owe this man everything because he he just didn't care. And so he just let me do everything. So I learned how to taper on his head. I learned how to fade. I learned how to line up. And then all the other kids at the group home start getting cut by me. And then all of a sudden, the staff was like, "You know what? You're not that bad. I give you $5 because they were paying like 15, $20 for a haircut. I give you $5 if you cut my hair." I was like, "Say less. I'll take like my allowance if I made good choices that week was $20." And so I was like, "I can make an extra $10 this week. Man, come on, let's do it." And so I was cutting the staff's hair, I was cutting the kids' hair, and I just kept going on YouTube, YouTube University. Just kept looking and looking
Wow.
and looking. Then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm not too bad. I'm a little confident in myself. So then I went to school. I was like, "Hey, I cut hair. Let me cut your hair. Hey, I cut hair. Let me cut your hair." More people said no, but some people said, "Yeah, let's give it a shot." And I remember the first person I cut, his name was Evan. We went straight into the bathroom. I flipped over the trash can. Didn't care that I got trash on the floor. Just yeet. He sat on the trash can, and there's outlets, and I plugged in my clippers, and I cut his hair. And people would walk in and see them. "Oh, you cut hair? You trying to give me a haircut?" And so I would go to school, and in between classes, sometimes during classes, during lunch, I would cut hair. And then one time, a staff came in, one of the security guards. He's like, "Hey, what you doing?" And I was like,
You should respect the hustle, man.
"Oh, wait, just hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. Wait, it gets better." He's like, "What y'all doing?" I was like, "Oh, just cutting hair." Like, "Y'all can't be doing that here. You know that's technically bringing a weapon to school." I was like, I don't know. I'm just
Cause you
like
had
trying to cut some
scissors or
hair."
what?
I guess so. Oh, I didn't even have scissors. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with scissors. I just had clippers. And
Yeah, I'm like they got scissors at the school.
and he was like, "You know, you can get suspended for this, right?" I was like, "Oh no, I didn't know. I just wanted to try to make some money." He was like, "I'll tell you this. You cut my hair for free. I ain't saying nothing." I was like, "Let's
Yeah.
do it." So
Yeah, so dude said if you give me free haircuts,
mm-hmm.
I ain't saying nothing.
No, and so then I just allocated my work at one bathroom, and it was just the hall that he monitored. And so
Wow.
I would cut hair there, and it was never an issue. And
Shout out
so
to him.
later on, obviously, I just kept cutting hair. I didn't go. I was gonna go the route of going to barber college, but the problem is, I was at ILSP, and I was speaking to an educational planner, and she was like, "Well, if you go the barber route, like." You're not going to be able to pay for it because of the Fosties, you go to college for free. Like we won't pay for it. because it's not a traditional college. And also, like, there's better opportunities. There's better careers that can make you more money. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right, I guess I won't do it then. So I go to Chabot College and realize really quickly, I ain't going to school. Hell no, that ain't for me. Forget that. And so I dropped out of college in the middle of my second semester because I was like, this is not me. I'm not meant to go to school. And so I started just doing. I was working at Target, working at McDonald's, and then I was able to get a job um, as an advocate for foster and probation youth. And I was doing that for many years, for working with Alameda County's Department of Children and Family Services. And then you can only work there for 3 years because once you get to a certain age, you no longer have the age to connect with the youth or whatever. I was like, all right. So then I thankfully found another job working in mental health, and I was a program manager, oh no, project manager for a mental health organization. But I was still cutting hair, kept cutting hair, and as you know, at that time I was cutting your hair, I was cutting everybody's hair, everyone at the church. Every weekend, hey, come on by. Or after work, come on by. Let me cut your hair. And then when my son was born, and when my son was born, this was a God moment. This is the biggest God moment, and I hope that if someone's listening to this, this is where you see how God shows up. My son's born. He's 3 weeks old. At night, I'm crying. I'm bawling my eyes out. Like, I look disgusting. Like, snot and everything. I'm just looking bad because I'm thinking, like, God, what am I going to do right now?
Hmm.
I don't know what to do right now. I I have a job, but I'm not making any money. After taxes, I'm making $2,800 a month. I'm in a low income apartment. I'm on food stamps. I'm getting Medi-Cal. I'm completely dependent on the government. I am broke. My wife at the time is not able to work because we can't afford childcare. It's on me. I got nothing. And when I said these few words, God, I need you to show up right now. Said that, I cried, I fell asleep. I woke up the next day. He woke up early. I was like, all right, I'll go to Starbucks so that his mom can sleep, get some rest. I'll take him with me. I'll do my Bible study like I normally would do. I go to the Starbucks near my house in San Leandro at the time. Never really go there. That was not the Starbucks I went to, but I just went there. And I ran into this guy named Jason. And I was talking to Jason, and he owned a barbershop in Danville. And he is like, hey man, like, have you ever thought about doing this as a career? And I was like, I wanted to, but I'll be honest with you, when I first looked into it, it doesn't make as much more money than I make now. And I got a son and I can't really make a transition unless I could do something good. And he's like, how about you just give it a shot? I promise you, I promise you, it'll be better than what you think it is. I'm like, all right, how? He's like, well, I just got a shop 3 months ago in Danville, and we're still looking for barbers. And there's an apprenticeship program that you could join. So how about this Friday and Saturday? You come to the shop, you cut some hair, and you tell me what you think. And I was like, say less, let's do it. So that Friday and that Saturday, I go to cut hair. And mind you, the barbershop was 3 months old. I'm a
Mhm.
brand new face. Um, no one has ever seen me. And yeah, I'm decent at cutting hair. But in those 2 days, I was $300 shy of my biweekly check. And I was like, if I get better, if I become a known face and the shop grows, what can that look like? What can that look like?
And all three of those happen.
And all three of those happen. And and obviously this is not like a continuous thing every single day. And it's not me till I just throw it out there as if like, oh, look at me, big baller, this or that. But there's many days that I make more than $2,800 in 2 days.
And that used to be your month.
And that was my month. And and now I can live in the Danville area, which is like a very affluent area. Which I'm not affluent, but the Lord has blessed me.
Yeah,
And in
man.
that moment, it was just crazy to think that all I said was, "Lord, I need you to show up." And the next day, He showed up, and He changed the trajectory of
Dude,
my life.
shout out to the Lord, man. All
Shout
glory
out
and
to
honor, man.
Jesus.
Real talk. And
AC
shout out to
Priesthood.
Jason, bro. Another very cool, very wise brother.
Man, the Lord was working in him, and He used him and blessed his
Did
opportunity.
you ever look at Jason like a mentor, kind of, or no? Or is it more
No,
like same level but big brotherish?
he at first I looked at him as a mentor, and I respect him and have love for the guy. But
I
I
only
just,
asked to say, what do you feel like is the importance of that? Because, I mean, even though that, let's say the guy's not your mentor, but those hand-me-down clippers came from an older gentleman. You know what I mean? Jason comes along with an opportunity. What's the importance of being the person who puts that opportunity in front of someone, puts clippers in a young man's hands, or, you know what I mean, guides them to say, give this opportunity a shot versus, you know what I mean, as opposed to, the people who told you, don't do that, do something else.
I think it's highly important. I don't believe that it's not impossible for someone to make something out of nothing and not have that kind of support. But when you do have that kind of support, when you do have that kind of mentorship, when you just have those people in your life that'll push you to go a specific direction, things become way more clear, become
For
way
sure.
more, not even, I wouldn't say easier, but opportunities present itself much more quicker when you
For
have the
sure.
right type of mentorship, when you have the right type of people, because then those specific people shift your mindset,
No doubt.
opens doors, and allows opportunity when you didn't think opportunity exists. I remember, when I was working in mental health, I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I only have a high school diploma. All my all my work experience, like fast food and retail, and I got nothing. And I hated the job. I really hated it. But you gotta make some money, right? I gotta do my thing.
Yeah.
So
Secure the bag.
yeah, I gotta secure a little tiny bag, little Dollar Tree bag. But but I was like, I hate it. I need something else. And so those people that come into your life in that way that want to help you, that they can become so fruitful and open up
Yeah,
those
for
doors.
sure.
And it opened up a door that I'm like, wow,
Yeah, I
didn't
think, yeah, I
realize that
think,
was possible.
yeah, I was gonna say those people as doors can't be understated. I think saying the prayer out loud, like God, I need help, that can't be understated because you know what I mean. It's really the humility that I think that draws that. You know what I mean? That draws that answer from God. Not that we could manipulate Him,
Hmm.
but it's in His Word. It says right there, like He gives grace to the humble. He opposes the proud. You know what I mean? And so I think sometimes there's that pride of like, I mean, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure it out. But then that humility, that switch of like, God, I need you. I mean, I need help. And I think that just speaking of shifting mindsets, I think it does too.
Hmm.
And I want to ask you this too because barbering, is kind of like it's a team sport in the sense that Jason had a shop, so there was a chair for you. There's an apprenticeship program. But I want to talk a little bit about your bodybuilding because I mean, I guess in some ways it's a team sport in that I mean, you have a team around you, people supporting you, but ultimately, like, you gotta lift the weight. You gotta, I mean, measure the food. You gotta. So, what is that like as an individual to, I mean, when there's no one who could do it for you and you've just had to force yourself to push forward? Like, can you
Hmm.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Uh, I will say the first thing is it is more of a team sport than it is an individualized sport because
Interesting.
it does take a coach. It does
Mhm.
take your gym community. It
What
takes,
role does a coach play in bodybuilding? Just out of
yeah,
sheer ignorance.
no, for sure. The role that they play is they are observing everything from your workouts and how you progressively grow in strength. They look at your food intake. What foods work for you? What foods bloat you? What food depletes you? Where do you feel the most energy? Does this specific carbohydrate work? Are you a rice person? Does rice help you? Or do you need something more like potatoes? Or can you have bread or can you not have bread? Um, is red meat the appropriate type of meat for your body, or can you not handle it? Do certain things spike your blood levels a certain way that it shouldn't? Like all these things have to be very thought out and very specific when you get closer to being leaner and leaner and leaner. And so
Yeah.
they're looking at your dietary regimens and seeing what works, implementing new things, removing specific things, while also making sure that you're learning how to do appropriate poses. Because you in bodybuilding, you're in your
Yeah.
tantaras all tanned up in front of hundreds of people and you're doing specific poses, and they're showing you the routines, they're showing you all these things, and you're constantly checking in. Hey, I noticed today I'm about 5 pounds heavier. What is that? Oh, okay, well, you got water retention. What did you have last night? Well, last night i I ate this. Okay, well, maybe let's try not eating this tonight. Let's switch it up. Let's swap it for this and see what that does. Oh shit, all of a sudden I'm like 7 pounds down the next day. Okay, let's do that. And then so you're they're your mentor.
Yeah.
They're telling you everything to do. It's like, just imagine you're day trading and like I'm right behind you and I'm like, all right, put this much into this one. All right, hold it. Okay, no, sell it right now. And then no, get this one. All right,
Yeah.
cash out. All of
It's
a
the
sudden.
strategy. It's the big picture strategy.
hmm And so you have that. Then you also have like, he's my coach is very, what he strives on is just making sure that everyone is connected on his team. So every other Saturday it's a team lift. Everybody comes and lives. And then if you're men and women, he'll separate it, and then the men will all post together in the posing room, and the women will all post together in the posing room at our gym, and he's just constantly about doing that. So there's that, and then just your team, people on
Yeah.
your team, like, hey, you got this, especially closer to it, because it gets really, really hard. It takes a
Yeah.
specific mindset to
Oh,
get to
for
that
sure.
place. Um, so it's not, it is individual because at the end, I'm the one that has to look at this plain chicken and say, I'm going to eat this dusty old food, or
No
I'm going
salt,
to look at this
no
gallon of
seasoning.
water. Yeah, I'm going to look at this gallon of water and I have to drink this and then two more later today. Like in the end, it is on me, or I feel completely depleted and I had no sleep last night. I'm still going to try to lift the same way I lifted last week. So it is on you, but at the same time, if it wasn't for the people around me, and the accountability that I had, I don't think I would have been able to like get to the point of doing my show.
Yeah.
So I just want to
So
touch on that. But
yeah, what did it feel like to come in first place? Was that your first competition
first competition.
and came in
Well,
first place?
yeah. So let's backtrack it so I can give a little bit more context because I think it's important. So if people do, or for whoever ends up watching it, they understand that I always was an obese kid. I was always an obese person, and you remember very clearly. The heaviest I got was after my son was born. I was 307 pounds. Just complete big back patty wag. You know, just a big boy. Trying to skateboard while a big boy, too. Ain't that crazy? Um, and so when my son was about 2 years old, we're sitting on the floor. My legs are crisscrossed. We got these Hot Wheels and we're playing back and forth with it. And I'm like, just sitting in the position, my stomach is out. I'm like, I can't breathe for nothing like this. So I lay down. I'm like this, laid out. If this is my body, my legs are my elbow, I'm like this. And I'm putting my head on my hand and I'm just going back and forth with the toys and I'm playing with them. And I'm like, am I really laying on the floor to play with my son right now? And it just bothered me. It really bothered me. But I couldn't sit up because I couldn't breathe. And so I was like, all right, I'll just keep playing like this. And then I'm just I didn't tell my ex at the time that it was bothering me, but I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, like if there was ever a situation where there's a fire and they both passed out due to smoke inhalation, can I pick up at the time my wife? Can I pick up my son and can I go? No, I can't. I can't do
Wow.
it. And it bothered me. And so for 2 days I was pondering that thought. Like it was affecting me deeply.
Wow.
And then out of nowhere, thankfully, you know, At that time, we had a relationship where we could be honest and it wasn't taken to offense. And she came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm really not trying to be mean to you. I just want to let you know that right now you're getting really big." She doesn't know I'm battling these demons in my head about the fact that my fat self can't run and that I feel like I can't even play with my son because I'm fat. And so that right there was like, all right,
So,
I'm gonna make a
let
change.
me ask you though, because I feel like it's certainly, and this is one of those topics where you start being like, how honest do I want to be, or how candid? But hey, I mean, two people gonna watch this anyway. Yeah, I mean, in case unless it blows up later, like Roberto said. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like there are certainly obese people that you know and that I know who must have had this moment, but
Mm-hmm.
for them it just didn't bother them as much. So kind
Yeah.
of on a more like meta level, what do you think is the difference to you where it bothered you enough to change? Where, you know what I mean, I know it bothers people every day, but not enough to change. So, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
if you could really
Yeah.
comb through your thought process, what was that switch?
Oh, I know exactly what it is. And the thing is I can't relate this it can and cannot relate to people because I know that it's very different. And what we talked about earlier in the podcast, I know what it's like to not have a mom and a dad. And I know what it's like. You know, my dad died because of heart problems, and my mom
Wow.
died because of drug use.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew about mom, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So both of them, it has to do with health. And I just didn't want to be in a position where my son had to experience the same exact thing. And so
Dang.
after his mom was like, "Hey, dude, you're getting big. You need to switch it up." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Because I can't do this. I can't live like this. It's progressively gonna get worse. I know it is because, bro, I was eating extra, like I was eating super burritos with extra meat on the Friday night. It was my thing. I don't know why. Friday night, a super burrito with extra steak, extra sour cream, and I would eat a family
Extra
pack,
sour cream is
for a
diabolical.
family pack of Oreos to the neck right
To
after.
the neck.
To the neck right after. Mind you, I'm drinking like 3 cans of Coke with that burrito. I'm eating. I
To the
was
dome
eating.
is
And
crazy.
that's one meal. Just imagine the rest of the day. I'm waking up. I'm eating 2, 3 donuts with some coffee with hella sugar in it. Later on, I'm going to Taco Bell at the barbershop, getting 3, 4 burritos and tacos with another soda. Then later on, I'm getting hungry, so I'm like, let me just get a snack. Let me get some Doritos and a regular Coke again, because Coke was my infinity. And then I would have my damn burrito with my Oreos at night. That's
That's
just one
crazy.
day. That's my
That's
Friday.
crazy.
That was my Friday. Just imagine my Saturday and Sunday. So I'm just like I'm eating, and so I knew.
Do you ever feel like I can afford it now? Let me just take a family pack to the neck.
Oh,
Like I can burn it
I'm
off
letting you
now.
know this right now. I still do. I still
You
do.
mean crave it, or you still do like do
Oh,
it?
I still do. No, I believe in balance. I
Okay,
believe in
okay.
balance. I
That's an
eat
interesting
Oreos,
perspective. You don't hear that.
brother. I just I just ate a honey bunches of oat bowl of cereal before I talked to you. Okay, it's right here. I gotta clean the bowl. Um, I still have all those things because I don't want people thinking like you can't have it the moment you decide to switch up your life. I created balance and there's ways to do it. But after she told me that, the next
Wait,
day,
if I could cut you off before the
oh,
narrative
good.
continues, I want to ask you about this though, because I think that is one of the big reasons people don't get started is that they look out and they're like imagining how hard it's going to be for the next year, and like
Hmm.
I'm never going to be able to have what before you made that decision to switch up, were you thinking that far ahead, or were you just saying I'm gonna just change the next thing, or you know what I mean?
I just knew I had to
Like, were
make a
you
change.
thinking balance at the beginning, or were you thinking I gotta go all out?
I didn't think anything. I just said I need to do something. And so
Hmm.
when I had that epiphany, or not even epiphany, yeah, sure, and just a reality check, and I'll get into this as I continue the narrative. I go to the barbershop the next day. There's this guy named Steve. Do you remember Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, Steve. He was a fit dude, and I told him, "Hey, Steve, bro, I need to switch things up, man. I need to get in shape." And he gave that look like, "All right, for sure." Like like
We'll see.
yeah, it's like he wasn't trying to, but you could just see it. And I was like, "If I sign up for the gym, would you go with me tomorrow?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll go with you." All right. I signed up for the gym. We went to the gym near the barbershop. I worked out with him one time, and after that, didn't work out with him again. And I just went straight into it, and I went for it. And at first, I was thinking, and this is when the thoughts began. I kept looking because I've tried so many different times to lose weight. I did P90X, I did Insanity, I did keto, I did the carnivore diet, I did starvation and fasting. I did all these fad diets because you think that's how you lose weight. And I was like, what worked, what didn't work? I'm just sitting and thinking like, why is it that everyone starts diets and they fail? And I realized the biggest thing is everyone says, like, they're like, okay, let's do a different example. It's not just, so it's just not work talked about like working out. I want to become a race car driver. And the first thing that they do is they start speeding on the freeway, and then they start trying to drift and do all that stuff when they haven't even learned the mechanics of a car and understand how it works and understand what you need to do, what counter steering looks like, or anything like that. They don't
Hmm.
break down, they just go straight into it. And with dieting and getting in shape and working out, they're like, I need to get in shape. So I need to cut the carbs. I need to take all these calories out of my day to day. I need to drink a copious amount of water. I got to do all these crazy changes, and I'm going to go to the gym 6 days out of the week, and I'll do 5 days of cardio with that. All of a sudden, you have this overconsumption of change that you don't even know how to manage. And you
Yeah.
think you could do it because you're in the moment, in the mood. You're excited. It's fascinating. It's fun. But you fail. 90% of people fail. 95% of people fail that actually. And so I knew that because I failed too many damn times. Me and Ara, we were doing Insanity for a while. He came to my house every
I
day.
think
We
I
were doing
remember
Insanity.
that.
Yeah, we were like doing cardio and on keto, and that didn't work clearly for us. And and so I was like, what can I do different right now that's not going to feel that hard? Coke Zero. I'm going to stop drinking regular soda and I'm going to drink zero drinks. So I started doing that. Okay, what can I do? Oh, I can just drink a little bit more water too. Not a lot, just start being intentional. I never drink water, so just drink water. And then I'm like, all right, cool. What can I do next? What are these slow changes that progressively accumulate and add up? And I did little things at a time, little things at a time. So I do one thing, get used to it, doesn't feel that hard. Add another thing, get used to it, doesn't feel that hard. And you start realizing just in the little that you do, big changes happen. Because the
Yeah.
first 8 months, I lost over 70 pounds.
Yeah, man.
And I'm
Wait.
just
Say that again.
slowly,
You said the first how long? You lost how much?
8 months, I lost 70 pounds.
Wow.
And it wasn't even I wasn't doing these crazy diets or nothing like that. I just slowly started incorporating one thing at a time. It's like people when it comes to like the spiritual walk, they become saved. They're going to every connect group. They're going to every church meeting. They're going to every Bible study. They're reading 50 chapters a night. They're praying 4 hours a day, and then all of a sudden you get burnt out, like, and then it's like it's not the same. It's like, but if you
Yeah.
slowly get closer, slowly dive deep, it becomes routine. It becomes natural. It doesn't feel
For
like
sure.
it's too much. And so I started realizing in that I was like, okay, I still want I still want balance. I still want to like enjoy the foods that I want. And so in that I was learning how to count calories. I was learning how to weigh food. I was learning how to work out.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, well, I know that people go on a diet and they think about calories every day. Or I got to eat this many calories per day. And I was like, well, let me think about it on a week to week basis. Okay, if I needed to lose a pound this week, I need to eat I'll just throw out a random number, 22,000 calories total. Okay, if I need 22,000 calories and that'll make me lose 1 pound this week, but I know the weekends is when I have the biggest struggle. What if I take majority of those calories for the weekend, and then whatever's the remainder, I'll spread it out by the Monday through Friday. So I was like, oh, let me take 9,000 calories of that for Saturday and Sunday. That's 4,500 calories each day, which is a lot of calories for a normal person. And then the remainder, I'll divide that by five. I don't know if 24,000 is a big number.
Yeah.
Let's say 18 or 16,000, right? And then I'm taking nine of that. So that leaves me 7,000 calories for the next 5 days. So that leaves me with what? 1,300 calories. I'll eat 1,300 calories Monday through Friday and make sure it's mainly protein. And I'll
Mm.
still eat what I like to eat, but just keep the calories low. I realized the
Small
cleaner the
portion
food, the more,
sizes.
yeah, I realized the cleaner the food, the more portion I get. So then I tried a little bit cleaner, but then I always knew Friday and Saturday I could eat whatever I want. If I want pizza, I'm eating pizza. I want Oreos, I'm eating Oreos. I want burrito, I'm eating a burrito. Because I wasn't thinking about bodybuilding. I just think about just getting myself in check and losing weight. And I did all that. I lost 107 pounds. And then from there, I focused on like just getting bigger and stronger. I went on my first ever bulk, was petrified that I was going to get fat again. And I went from 190, I was at 307, then I got down to 197.
Wow.
And then no, 194. Then I got up to 217. And then I cut back down. And then I went on another bulk, got up to 231. And then that's when I first talked to my coach about bodybuilding. And then from 231, I got all the way down to 204, did my bodybuilding show, and I placed first in novice. And then, so you have different categories A, B, C, and D. I think I was group B, or yeah, B. And it goes
Is it
off of
by? It's
height,
not by. Is it by weight or what is the
weight
groups
and
by?
height, weight
Okay.
and
Okay.
height.
Okay.
And so I do that. And then after after all the categories they get their first placers A, B, C, and D. Then all the first place people go against each other, and then
Mm.
you do, and that's called overall. And so I got first place for my category for novice, for true novice, and then I got first place for overall. and
What?
then and then I did this thing called classic, open classic, and that's competing against people that have been doing it for years. There were 16 people there that I competed against, that a lot of them had did 4, 5, 6 shows already. They're used to this. This is their life. And you could only place in the top five.
Hmm.
I placed fifth. And to me, the fifth was the best one.
Yo.
That was the best one because I, and I'll send you a picture too. Like, I remember standing by some of the guys, and I was like looking at the photo. I was like, wow, I actually fit in. I remember I walked into the bodybuilding to check in the day before the show. I'm looking at these dudes. I'm like, I don't fit in here. I literally don't fit in. I'm not, why am I here? I'm not a bodybuilder. And, and then I do my first spray tan. And
I
after that first spray tan, I
can
was
see
like,
the
hold up,
nostalgia in your eyes,
wait a
bro.
minute. Who is this man? Who is this Greek god?
He
Um,
said, but then I got that first spray
The
tan.
first spray tan, not, cause I'm telling you, something about getting tanned, it it
Yeah, it makes you
it
look.
changes things.
Yeah.
And then the next day in the morning for the show, I get my secondary tan, and I'm blacker than you, bro. I'm black as hell. I'm dark, looking wild, and I'm in my little tantarans, and I'm just like posing in the mirror in the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, this is it. This is real. And I was like, okay. And then I go and I'm fine. We're all in our little tantarans, and I'm just looking at everybody, and I'm like, oh no, actually, like, I belong. I actually
Yeah.
belong. I
There's
fit
something
in. I'm in this.
there's something to be said about accomplishing that feeling of I belong and I fit here and I'm in this room because I deserve to be, because I put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
There's something about that. Like
Yeah.
that
Absolutely.
that's a feeling that, I mean, could you have imagined, you know what I mean, from young you orphanage, you know what I mean, obese kid, could you have imagined that feeling for yourself?
No, and the thing is, because when you're a big guy too, and you come from where you come from, and you experience what you experience, I had so many insecurities. My self worth was low. My doubt of myself was high. I
Wow.
hated myself. I was one of the most insecure people, and this is a side note for if a girl ever watches this, date a guy who used to be fat, and for guys that are bigger,
Hey, no,
bro,
that goes
get in
for both
shape
genders, low
because
key.
you have to understand something. A big guy, he knows he doesn't look good. He has to make up with it with personality. You have to be funny. You have to be engaging. You have to be talkative. You have to just, your personality has to shine. Because you a fat, not best looking dude. And I don't mean any disrespect to anyone that's like that. You just don't stand out. But then you get fit and then you learn discipline. You learn, delayed gratification. You learn all these things that makes a fit person. Not only do you have the discipline and you have the physicality that makes you show that you are disciplined, but you also still have the personality that you acquired when you were fat. And so, date a
That's
formerly fat
real.
guy.
That's real, bro. That's
Not me
real.
though. I'm happily taken. Don't date me. I'm happy. But no,
Yeah,
but
that's such good advice, bro. It's fitness is one of those areas where we could just it's hard to understand why we don't try harder, but we just, man, it's, I don't know what it is. And I think this
it,
is a theme that comes up for me a lot, discipline and um you know what I mean, focus, commitment, like you said, all those traits that fit people have. And I think we talked about this a little bit with Roberto. A big part of it is growing up with all the distractions that we did. We just don't have the attention span or like the ability to lock in that delayed gratification. That's the one, bro.
yeah,
For me
delay
personally, that's the
gratification.
one. So
Yeah,
if you had to tell someone, like you said, small steps, who's struggling, maybe whether it's you're obese, you want to make more money, whether, any of the things you talked about, and they need to take step one.
yeah. You sit there and you ask yourself, what is the one first small thing that you can change that doesn't feel too abrasive? Like I said, for me, it was Coke Zero. Like when it comes to the dieting thing. But that can be applicable in anything when it comes to careers, when it comes to finances, when it comes to health, anything. Living a better life, just pursuit of just healing and growing. What is one thing that is a change, but it doesn't feel so crazy? And
Yeah.
slowly implement changes. Like if you're like trying to be better at, like if you're trying to find ways to grow financially, what is one small thing I could do today? Um, I spend, let's say hypothetically, I spend 3 hours a day on social media. How about I take 30 minutes of those 3 hours and I learn something? Use social media, but instead of brain rotting, let me just learn something. Maybe it's couch flipping. Let me learn how to couch flip. Maybe it's looking into Airbnb arbitrage, where you don't own the location, you just rent the location and then you put it on Airbnb. Or what if maybe I'm good at cleaning cars. What if I look into starting a car detailing business? Or you know, I don't have a lot of money. Let me look into day trading and let me learn how to paper trade where I'm using fake money and learn how to do it and then eventually use real money. That's one little thing I can learn how to do 30 minutes a day. And it doesn't even have to be 30 minutes a day, it can be 10 minutes a day. That's the first step. And then
Yeah.
the second step is what is the next thing that I can do that doesn't feel like it's just too much? Because everyone likes to jump into anything and everything too rapid, too quick, because they have motivation.
Oh yeah.
I,
That's
I
that's
feel
my
I feel
strategy.
motivated. I feel motivated, so this is when I do it. If I don't do it now, I ain't gonna do it later. Nah, brother, you do that, you're not gonna do it.
Facts.
One
Facts.
thing at a time, and
No,
that's it.
that's real.
And that's for everything. And so,
Yeah, I like that. I think, me, I'm different. The rules don't apply to me. I'm a young genius. I'm a young creative genius,
mm,
a young philosopher and thinker. My brain works a little differently, man. But I sense both. For me, I sense both. It's I like what you said too when I asked what were you thinking about when you made a certain change, and you answered, I didn't think. I just picked something out, I started doing it. So I think it's for sure that for me, I have to like dive into it. But then as I dive in, like I'm already thinking what's going to be my return on investment. Like if I make this risky decision and I dive in and take this chance, what return am I expecting and what work is that going to take?
mhm.
You know what I mean? But I have to make the investment first or else I will have analysis paralysis. Um, but I like exactly what you said. Is I think Dr. Jordan Peterson, the psychologist, he said pick one thing that you can do that you will do.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like don't
absolutely.
go overboard.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. And, because granted, everybody's different, right? So everyone takes and moves and operates completely different. So sometimes it's not even applicable. And sometimes you do need to just go gung ho. And I get it. I respect it and I understand it.
Yeah, but that's a way to
But
start. It's not a way to sustain.
yeah. And yeah, and sometimes it is a good way to start. And so you have to think to yourself, what is the better approach? But then if you notice, like for instance, when it came to like me dieting, I failed too many times. I had to stop and be like, wait a minute, that is not me. I'm
Yeah,
not I need to jump into and learn every little thing at one time and figure it out and go. There's no, I need to make a change, make a decision, and then slowly make a change. And
that's
so I guess
yeah.
that's the wisdom
And
I would want to
speaking of,
impart.
yeah, no, that's very wise words. And I was gonna say, speaking of, trying to make more money, brother, you slid directly into the best career path. Apparently, they're saying now barbers are one of the highest paid trades, up there with plumbers and electricians. And in a world where AI is coming and taking all the jobs,
Yeah.
I think the barbershop represents this unique kind of space where it's a third space. It's a place for people to gather. Um, it's a place for FaceTime. For real FaceTime, real conversations,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be more and more valuable. I think as
Absolutely.
everything becomes autonomous and automatic.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's definitely it is a if you've put yourself in the position, it is definitely a fruitful business and career path that you can choose. But with all things, it's what you put into it.
So, what advice would you give Isaias then? If you're looking at the world, the AI's coming to there ain't gonna be no Uber, no Lyft, no. What advice do you say to prepare him to make money or feed a family in the future?
Oh, I do everything that I do with him is about entrepreneurship. And
Mm,
so we talked about it yesterday. So one thing that I do is, when he comes to the barbershop, he knows very clearly if he wants to make money today, he can make money if he wants to. And so
wow,
his job with me is he sweeps and cleans the floors. And the thing is, I tell him, if I have to remind you, any money that you make today, you officially lost. You could be doing it all day perfectly, and then you forget at the end, you lost your money. And I make it very clear that that is what your responsibility is, and that's your duty if you're choosing to go on your own accord to make your own money. What's great about where I'm at is there's other places within that area that are salonists and all that stuff, and he goes door to door. 8 years old, goes door to door and say, "Hey, I provide cleaning services, towel folding services, window cleaning services. Would you like me to support you and assist you today?" And
wow,
at 8 years old, he goes and he makes his money. And then what we do is he doesn't spend any money. He puts it away. He puts it away. And I also tell him, like, when we come home, you have your obligations, you have your requirements. Like, your job to be part of this household, to be part of this family, is you have to clean the dishes. Like after dinner, you take the dishes, you rinse it off, put in the dishwasher. You have specific responsibilities like make your bed and all that stuff. These things you don't get an allowance for. Who gives an allowance? I don't get an allowance to make my bed. I don't get an allowance to brush my teeth. But I will give you opportunities to make money. So our backyard, like the windows right here, I'm looking at the backyard. There's a bunch of leaves right now in the backyard, and he can easily say, "Hey, Dad, can I make some money?" Yeah. What can I do? Just clean the backyard. And right now he's not old enough to go on his own, but when he's old enough to kind of be a little bit more independent, I'm gonna have him go door to door, clean garbage cans out, clean cars. Very soon, in the next couple of weeks, we're actually gonna do this thing where I'm gonna be bank of dad. I'm going to give him a
What?
personal loan. He is then going to utilize the money that he has. We're going to go to the store. He's going to purchase everything he needs for his lemonade stand. Once he
Hey.
purchases everything for his lemonade stand, we'll go together. I'll support him because I have to be there with him, or Cynthia will be there with him. He will then sell his lemonade, and he'll take the money that he has and the profit that he has. He will then pay back what is owed to dad, a bank of dad, and whatever's left over is his profit. And he can either make the choice to reinvest into his business and allow for more fruit to be produced, or he could take his money and allocate it to the next business that he wants to do. And so that
Mm,
allows entrepreneurship in the mindset and ways of
that's
thinking.
real.
And so I don't ever teach my kid to do anything. And if in terms of like working for someone, I will say when he is a teenager, what I will have him do is he is going to work at a fast food place to one, establish humility, but two, understand infrastructure. So working at a Chick-fil-A
Mm,
or In and Out, those places have appropriate infrastructure where they're why does this work so well? Why are they so successful? What are they doing differently so that when you're doing that, you can now implement those same tools for when you
wow.
start your own business. And
Yes.
so I'm
Bro,
all about creating that opportunity so he can think in that way. Because if he wants to go to college, that's fine. If he wants to have a specific career path, that is totally fine. But that's not what I'm teaching him. I will always support him with whatever decision he makes. I will also give him direction, and I'll also be honest if I don't think it's an appropriate thing. I'll say, look, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'll always support you. If that's the career you're going down, if you want to be a teacher per se, that is all
yeah.
right with me. But although it's noble and admirable with what you want to do, I want you to look at it like this, and then just talk about just stability, talk about finances, talk about the future, and talk about if you could put yourself in a different financial position, you could actually do more for the youth than just teaching them. And so not saying don't do it, but I'm saying this is the alternative too.
Yeah. Just
And
aim as
giving
high
him
as
direction.
possible.
Yeah. And so uh that's really what I try to do and establish in his life
I
so
think,
he understands that.
yeah, I think that's the smartest way to go about it because that's what's gonna happen with AI is it's gonna, in one sense, it lowers the fences for entrepreneurs and people trying to start things and do things. But in another sense, it raises the fences, or exposes those people who never really wanted to do anything in the first place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like uh, execution is the moat, right? It's like the
Yeah.
knowledge is not the thing blocking you. Well, I don't know how. Money is not the thing blocking you. There's not money for it because, bro, between the creator economy and all of these smaller economies popping up, um, I think there's money to be had in things like third spaces. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be only thing stopping us is gonna be ideas and execution.
Yeah.
If you have an idea and you can move on it,
Yeah.
because anything, and it goes hand in hand with the time management thing. Because now this AI is gonna be a force multiplier. You know what I mean? So in the same thing that would have took you a week to do can take you a few hours. So
Hmm.
when you waste a few hours, it's like you wasted a week. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, And so I think that's the right way to be thinking about the future, is to position you to be able to manage resources, to think about even the fact that you mentioned supply chain is crazy, and that structure of a restaurant. Like, how could I get a burger so fast? Like, the beef shows up, the patties show up, there's a shipment. This is where we grab them from. This is where they're coming from, bro. That is everything. That's
Yeah,
everything from, like you said, McDonald's to literally the war in Iran right now and the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, it's literally about supply lines. It's about shipping and
yeah,
systems. Um, and so I think that's huge. I think that's everything. And it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how he takes advantage of
yeah,
all of the wisdom that you're putting in front of him, all of the opportunity that you're putting in front of him. That's
yeah.
excited. What would you say you're most excited about for the future?
Mm. You know, honestly, it's hard to say because in the end, man, all I really want for this dude to do is just to love Jesus. Like
Wow.
I'm just be real with you. Like I want him to be successful, right? I want him to be fine. I want him to like not follow the footsteps of like my past and my upbringing. And I'm doing everything I can to change that life for him. And I get that. But it's like really the only thing that can really truly and will definitely change his life is him loving Jesus. And and so for me, I want that. But if he is a teacher making $80,000 a year, but his heart is for Jesus, and he's like a Roberto, shoot, I'll take that over the guy that makes $2 million a year and can buy me a
Bro,
Lambo.
I told Roberto the same thing. I said, bro, if I could just send my son to one person for them to just absorb their person, bro, it would be you. So that's hecka funny you said that.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, I feel like that you've set him on the right path. Yeah, I mean, I think that's because you're on the right path. He has such a good example to look at in you. And it's so crazy that how all of those things that we talked about as far as principles of discipline. You know what I mean, self control, all that, brother. It's like these are all such biblical principles of
everything's
dying to
biblical.
yourself, sowing and
Everything.
reaping. What you put
Mhm.
in, you can expect out. I mean, he who has more, more will be given. To him who
Mhm.
doesn't have, even what he has will be taken away. I mean, stewardship, how you honor your time and your resources. And
Mhm.
brother, you know me. That's something I've been trying to learn from people like you, from people like Roberto, for a long time, from people like P. Phil,
Mhm.
Ara. So man, I always appreciate anytime we get to talk and I get to absorb your wisdom and your light, man. I
Yeah,
love you
me
so
too.
much.
I love you too, man. I appreciate that. I'm
I
trying.
can't wait to see you, man. I'm gonna mess around and pull up on you guys in August, bro.
You should, man. I would love that. And if you do, man, well, depending on what time in August, because I'll be in Mexico in the beginning. But if you do, obviously I know you got places to stay, but you are always welcome to stay here. You can
Man,
kick
mess
it with
around and
me.
crash in Danville one time.
Crash in Danville, you know? Let me
Well,
shave
wait,
your
so when you
head.
come back from, well, not to, we'll talk about it offline. I won't put your whole travel plans on
Oh
the
no, I was
internet,
just gonna say
but
I'm
I'm
going to
gonna plan it for
Mexico.
when you're back.
Yeah, I'm going to Mexico. We're gonna go to this thing called Baja Fest, like this like beach festival thing.
Is it? Do they
So
drive? Is it? It hadn't doesn't have nothing to do with the races, does it?
no, 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 no.
Or, like Baja trucks. That's what comes to mind.
No, no. I know what you're talking about, but no. I knew someone. His name is Jason Schroeder. He rode professionally doing that stuff. That's cool.
That's some of the sickest.
I
Low key.
know.
Besides, I love rally, but I feel like right after rally, I don't know why I really like that.
Yeah,
Something
that's
about
it's pretty
just
cool.
the
Yeah,
danger.
right. That's real. I don't know, man. I don't know. You like the danger, but I don't know, man. It took you a couple hours to jump off that little cliff.
Bro, bro, see, this is what I'm talking about. I discovered a new fear I did not know I had. But
Mm,
bro, that be what I'm talking about, is like I could not will myself to move, bro. I was frozen.
I
But yeah,
get it.
anyway.
I get it. I man, when I first did it, it took me a second. Not that long, but it took me a second. And I really what helped me, I saw like some little kid do it. I think you that happened to you too, right? I think you saw a
It
kid
was
and you're like, bro,
when my brother came with
oh
us.
yeah,
And
like it
he
ain't.
went first, I was like, oh, ain't no way.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you.
How
But
much were you at? How much did you weigh at that time?
I wasn't that big. I was starting to lose weight. I was still big. I want to say like maybe 230,
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. I remember you being. You
240.
had started. You wouldn't know three for
No, no,
sure.
no,
You
no,
wouldn't know
no, no.
three.
I was because I remember that it was when I was like I was losing weight at that time, and I was on a diet, and and that was actually on my because it was for my birthday. That was the only that was the only time I was eating like crap. I was eating the sandwiches. We had chips and cookies and everything.
That's funny.
That was a
Yeah,
good time.
man. Those were the moments when I looked at myself and I started thinking, all right, lock
How
in,
about
bro.
how about this? How about this? How about this? Real quick. If you come in August, how about we plan to go do that again?
Yo, every time I go there, I want to go to Yosemite, bro. I want to I just be wanting to get in the car and find time. So let's do
Yes,
it,
sir.
man. Let's do it.
I'll do it.
We'll have a
I'm with it.
we should get a little place to stay out there so we can do a full day, spend the night,
Hmm.
drive back in the morning instead
I'm
of
with it.
the back and
I'm
forth.
with it.
Mess around and set up a little podcast studio.
There you go. Now you got
Yeah,
a
man. The
whole crew of
council.
people.
The council of the wise elders, bro.
There you go. I'm about it. I'll do it. If you want to do it, we could definitely plan it.
Yes, sir. We'll talk, man. Hey, I love you so much, brother. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely, man.
All
Thank
right,
you,
this was
man.
great. I'm gonna hit you up right now.
Okay.
All right, peace out.